Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call.
Hello and welcome into the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host tonight, Cassidy Wood. Guys, such good news out of Steelers practice today. I think all of us were hoping with bated breath that TJ Watt would get the confirmation, that we would get the confirmation that TJ Watt is going to play Sunday night against the Ravens. Look, tough rushing attack coming in here to Pittsburgh. So to have your defensive captain playing in this game is huge. We heard from him today for the first time, and we'll get into that here shortly. I'm joined alongside Brian Batko. And Brian, you and I were both over there today. We've been over there the past 2 weeks. You know, TJ came back, I believe it was Christmas Eve. It was a beautiful Christmas present for the team. But he was in limited capacity these past couple weeks, and today was the first time he was a full participant in practice. So definitely something good for Steelers fans and the team to see.
Not only that, but the first time he's spoken on his own situation since the scary lung incident December 10th and, you know, the subsequent surgery.
Yeah, he also cleared up, too. There were some rumors that, you know, potentially this was done by someone that he hired independently of the organization, but he cleared up, no, he doesn't do that. He only uses what's available to him within the organization, and that's when he was asked, well, now, do you have any hard feelings? And he said no. So just an unfortunate situation. Like you said, a routine dry needling situation. He's done it plenty of times before. He said guys across the league do it all the time. Right. And it was just a total fluke that ended up sitting him for 3 games. But yeah, to be able to play in this regular season finale with the stakes that this game holds is very nice to see. And
he didn't want to get into also to spin it forward a little bit to Sunday night. I think somebody questioned him, you know, are you going to be on a snap count or a pitch count of some sort? And he didn't really want to get into that, which makes sense. Why give the Ravens any more intel or info than they already have? And I think if you're TJ too, you might not even be sure. You might not be sure how you're going to feel. You heard him there on the sports segment about how he was trying to simulate running around in shoulder pads again. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's one thing for him to be fully healthy again and practicing without limitations, as he said, but it's a whole other thing to spot the ball Sunday night, line him up, and see if he's got any rust to him or if any rust that he needs to knock off of there after not playing for 3 games.
Yeah, Tomlin did say on Tuesday, though, too, that TJ's always in football shape. So hopefully it's not too much of a difference. But, I mean, again, it's a medical situation. It's not a normal injury. As TJ said, too, it was just very weird for him because it wasn't like it was a broken leg or like any kind of normal, quote unquote, injury. It was a medical situation, and he never had those type of feelings before, and he didn't really know how to rehab back or take care of it. So they wanted to be extra careful. And just like I keep saying, but it's so true. I mean, just thankfully he's coming back for this game because with Derrick Henry and a dual threat QB and Lamar Jackson coming here to Pittsburgh, it's going to be tough to stop.
And on the bright side of the potential rust situation, maybe he'll come back with fresh legs, and having those 3 weeks off will actually do him some good because everybody has bumps and bruises at this point in the season. That's probably a big reason why you get the dry needling therapy done to you to begin with, is because, you know, you want your body to feel as spry as it possibly can from one game to the next when you're playing such a violent sport. So perhaps TJ will come in here, you know, with some extra juice, some added, you know, obviously he's got added motivation for this game because he still has yet to get a playoff win in his Steelers career. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see right from the get-go Sunday night. You know, does he look like he is ready to play, or does it look like he's had some time off and he might have to warm up to it a little bit? And, you know, nobody from the Steelers wants to warm up to this game with how significant it is.
Yeah, not at all. All right, guys, this is our Penn West University question of the night. Will Terrell Austin be back with the Steelers next season? There's some rumors circulating about the defensive coordinator with the Rams. We can touch on that. Also, some other really good injury news that came out of practice today. Pretty much everyone was a full participant. We'll dive more into that as well after our first break. Please give us a call, 412-575-2600. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. This is our Xfinity tweet of the night from the Steelers. Kenny G was voted the 2025 team MVP by his teammates. Very cool for Kenny G. He said today, he told us it was unexpected, but his time here in Pittsburgh is what he expected. He wanted to come in here, be a game wrecker, and take the Steelers far. And he said, and I quote, that he still thinks this team is capable of making a Super Bowl run. So we'll see if that's the case, but obviously they have to get a win on Sunday first and foremost. But I don't think many people, Brian, are shocked by this. Kenny Gainwell really came in, and him and Jaylen Warren have been such a solid 1-2 punch together. Yeah,
it's great for Kenny G to be team MVP, but what does it say about some of the big name players on this team? Because I think if you would have done a list or, made odds before the season of who would take home that honor, I don't know if Kenny would have been in the top 10, 15, 20 players. So it speaks to how great of a season he's had as, that sort of hybrid running back and receiver role in Arthur Smith's offense. But man, I think a lot of people before the season would have guessed TJ Watt would win it again. And if not him, then Aaron Rodgers, Cam Hayward, Jalen Ramsey, Pat Freiermuth, Jonnu Smith, DK Metcalf. So yeah, I mean, it was not really on my radar coming into the season, but certainly with the way he played this year, wasn't that surprising of a choice.
Do you think if TJ didn't get this freak accident happen, do you think he probably would have won it?
I don't know. He wasn't having that great of a year to begin with. I thought they might vote for Jalen Ramsey as a team, moving from corner to safety, kind of sacrificing, his identity as a shutdown corner for the betterment of the team and the defense. But, tough to pick a defender this year with how Jekyll and Hyde that unit has been for the Steelers. Other people that I thought would be in the mix, Aaron Rodgers, but, even Ben famously very rarely won that award. I think he won it in 2009 and then did not get it again the rest of his tenure with the Steelers. So maybe there's something to, hey, they all know how valuable the quarterback is in most years, and thus people go in a different direction. Here's the better what if probably than TJ Cassidy is, what if DK Metcalf stays on the field for these last couple games, or at least one of these final two games, and makes some big plays? Perhaps he would have gotten the nod from his teammates.
Yeah, and you mentioned Jalen Ramsey, giving up that shutdown corner. JPJ, though, stepping up so big.
He could have gotten it too, perhaps.
And, longest streak right now in the NFL without allowing a touchdown. I believe week 8 of 2023 was the last time he allowed a touchdown.
Isaiah likely probably still thinks he allowed a touchdown in Baltimore. We'll see if those two get a little bit of a rematch in that battle this week.
It'll be fun to keep your eye on that one for sure. All right, let's go out to the phone lines. We have David in Finleyville. David, what's going on?
Happy New Year to you guys.
Happy New Year.
I'll ask you a question. Who do you see stepping up in the absence of DK Metcalf this Sunday? I'll hang up and listen to you.
Well, David, the bright side is, I teased it a little before the break, the other injuries that came out today, or lack thereof, I should say, no injuries. So it's a good thing. James Pierre, Brandon Echols, they're back, full participants today, and they're gonna play Sunday night, and Calvin Austin, which I think is huge. He didn't play in Cleveland because of a hamstring injury. He will be back Sunday night, and look, no one can make up for the loss of DK Metcalf, because not only was he making those incredible plays, he was pulling double teams, allowing other guys to get open, and not having him is huge. I think, too, they're going to go to the ground a lot more. I think Jaylen Warren and Kenny Gainwell. I was shocked that he only had 7 touches in Cleveland, Kenny G, speaking of the MVP. But we'll see the game plan on Sunday night. I don't think it's any one person, though. It's got to be a collective, as Tomlin says.
Well, Kenny G spent most of his time in Cleveland, lining up next to the left tackle and making sure Myles Garrett had to do a loop around the entire stadium to get anywhere near Aaron Rodgers. So to answer David's question, I think Calvin Austin's return could be big, but it depends on if he's 100% from that hamstring. Those soft tissue injuries are tricky to get right back up to full speed. And plus, are they going to use him anyway? I still think that Aaron Rodgers is in a mode of trusting Adam Thielen and Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
All right, let's go to Bill and Carrick. Bill, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How's it going?
Good. The Steelers, I can't see them winning because they have no offense. You only scored 6 points against Cleveland. That's terrible. And the defense, I don't know if they can stop Henry or not.
Yeah, it's going to be tough, especially coming off of that performance against Green Bay, 4 touchdowns and 200-something yards. Look, Henry is a beast.
There's that same threat that Lamar Jackson presents, assuming his back really is healthy and you take him at his word that he feels good, much better than he did a week ago when he sat out a do-or-die game for them in Green Bay. If Lamar is healthy and can still move the way he has in these last few matchups with the Steelers, I think even if you do sell out to take away Derrick Henry and you limit him or contain him, Lamar can still hurt you with his own legs. And I think if guys like Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews are getting open against the Steelers secondary, then they could still be in for a difficult day defensively, even if they do a nice job on Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I will say the saving grace, though, Lamar Jackson doesn't have the best history in big moments like this,
True.
Typically in big games.
Especially against the Steelers.
He struggles, and in the last 6 matchups against the Steelers, he only has 1 win. So, I mean, the Steelers have his number a little bit.
Well, the playoff game was big, too. He played well that day in Baltimore.
He did play well that day. So, look, the Steelers are more comfortable, I think more familiar, I should say, with Lamar Jackson. So I think in a way, you know, at least they know how to game plan for him a little better than maybe Tyler Huntley would have been. But yeah, we'll see. A dual threat quarterback and a running back like Derrick Henry is a 1-2 punch.
That's what's hurt the Steelers this year in their run defense. They've stood up at times against teams like the Lions and the Dolphins, but that's Jared Goff and Tua Tagovailoa handing the ball off. They've struggled against the Jets when Justin Fields was in there. They struggled against the Bills when Josh Allen is a threat to run the ball. And obviously the Ravens with Lamar in the first meeting, they still rolled up more than 200.
Yeah, I agree with you there. All right, guys, remember again, Penn West University question of the night. Will Terrell Austin be back with the Steelers next season? Let us know there. And we are going to head to our last break. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. Welcome back to the Nightly Sports Call. I'm your host, Cassidy Wood, joined alongside Brian Batko. And guys, we just have 2 days left until this marquee matchup, win or go home, Steelers and Ravens, a historical matchup because this is the first time in AFC North history that the title has come down to a Week 18 winner home game. So everything is on the line in this one. And with that, we'll go back out to the phone lines because we have a lot of people calling in. Wonder why. All right, we have Rick in Chippewa. Rick, what's going on?
Hey, listen, Arthur Smith has got to get his head in this game. Last time it was, 6 carries for Gainwell and 8 for Jalen. Those two need to run this ball 25 times minimum, and he's got to do something different. I'd like to see something, a pass over the middle, do a hook and ladder or something. And by the way, is T.J. Watt changing his position from one side to the other?
No, Rick, unfortunately, we were told at training camp we would see a lot of that this season, and we rarely have seen it, if at all, as far as TJ goes. And definitely with his injury and him being out, I won't expect that on Sunday night. But, yeah, so.
The other part of that, yeah, I mean, we haven't seen much trickeration from Arthur Smith in the Steelers offense. Maybe we do in this game because pull out all the stops at this point. But I think he's gotten a little I think Arthur Smith's a better offensive coordinator than a lot of people. Maybe it's a difficult position, and it's one that's always second-guessed and Monday morning quarterbacked. But I think one criticism I would have of him this year sometimes is focusing more on plays over players and not utilizing somebody like Pat Freiermuth or even Jonnu Smith. But now he really has no choice. He has to get more creative with no DK Metcalf, and we'll see how he can scheme something up better than what they ran out there in Cleveland.
I think part of it, too, is Aaron Rodgers has a lot to say with what's going on as well. And as we talked about in the last segment, Brian, he is very comfortable with those receivers that he's been around with Thielen and MVS. And, I mean, if you drop a ball 2 times and he hits you a third, you know, that says something. So I think there's a lot of freedom that Aaron Rodgers is getting, especially at the line of scrimmage. And so it's not all on Arthur Smith, although I do agree that I think there needs to be a lot more touches for Kenny Gainwell and Jalen Warren and those tight ends on Sunday night.
Hey, if the Ravens defense is playing up and they are pressing 2 30-year-old receivers at the line of scrimmage and daring you to beat them and get open, that doesn't really make life easy on any offensive coordinator or quarterback.
Yeah, agree with you there. Bri, who do you have on Sunday?
Well, you don't wait till tomorrow night?
Yeah, you know what? Let's sleep on it.
All right.
Let's give it another 24 hours.
One more sleep,
and then we'll let our voices be heard and predict the score. Give you our score predictions.
I'll be here.
Night. Yeah. All right, and that is the final poll. Will Terrell Austin be back with the Steelers next season? No, 57%. So People think he's getting canned or leaving, whichever. But guys, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll be back here same place, same time tomorrow night.